If you find it difficult for you to sell a specific service because you love doing it and it feels weird for you to charge for something that you love doing, then this video is for you. I have a client that I've been working with for a while, and today I had another conversation with him, and I feel that slowly I'm making progress, bringing more into his awareness the role of his passion in his life. He has a full-time job. He does a few contracting activities on the side because he's that good at what he does. But his true passion is on a third initiative. It's a nonprofit organization. Problem is that nonprofit organization, he doesn't get paid at all, not even a salary, nothing on it. And meanwhile, he has a full-time job that it's not the passion as it is his nonprofit organization, nor his contracting is as close as a passion. And as I've been asking him, why doesn't he go all in into his passion and find a way for him to make money out of his passion so that instead of spending time doing what it's not his main passion, he would instead spend time doing only his passion and live off of it? He kept on giving me reasons like, I just don't want to. I just don't want charge for that. I just want to help people. So I realized that there were some root beliefs over there, some beliefs that make him feel like it's not appropriate for him to charge. It's not that he didn't need money. It's not that he didn't feel that the value that he's providing is worth the money. There was something else deeper than that. He started telling me about this other organization that is for profit and that they're doing very similar things to what he's doing, but they're charging. And the problem is that those guys charging actually provide a way worse service than he does with way lower results. And he doesn't want to find himself in the same situation. So there was this belief number one, that if I would charge, I would be as unethical as other people that charge. So what I've talked to him is that if other service providers do that, that doesn't mean that he has to do exactly the same. If you would sit down and analyze exactly what do the other service providers do that cause their clients not to have results, he can just simply charge and make sure that he provides way better results than the other service provider. Now, the second thing that he told me is that if I would start charging for this that I truly love, I'm not gonna like it anymore. Now, how did he come up with it? It was just in his mind that I will just not love it. And here's the thought process in his mind. If I would charge on what I like, I will want to do it more and more because I'm going to want more and more money. And then I'm going to basically dilute my results. And the purpose is going to become having money. So I talked to him and he realized that in the context of where he lives, in the context of his industry, there is very popular for the service providers to care way more about simply money than just getting them the result. And what I explained to him is that if he is so focused right now on bringing the value, so much so that he's willing to do it for free to make sure, why would that change anything? And even if there is a possibility for him to become corrupted by charging money, that is something that it's in his control. That is something that it is in your control too if you're in a similar situation. And see, when something is your passion, but it's not, what you're doing is not aligned to your values, you're going to have feelings that are going to tell you as a signaling system, hey, what you're doing is not aligned to who you are. What you're doing is not aligned to your values. Rather than simply being afraid of something that might happen, just bring that awareness up front and analyze when those feelings are going to show up. If everybody would be afraid of doing something for the fear of turning them into bad people because they had some examples in their life, then nobody would do anything, because you will always find examples of people that did that have let themselves be corrupted. How about you look at the examples of people that didn't let themselves be corrupted? People that actually spent that energy, that money, that time on improving their services, that impact their results to their clients. So I helped him understand that money is just a tool that you can use either for your egotistic reasons or for you to develop yourself as a person, for you to help your clients more, for you to improve your business, for you to increase your impact. It's your choice what you do with the money. You can simply turn them into scholarships for other people that cannot afford money if you really want that. So there's always something that you can do with the money that is aligned with your values. Another fear that we've dug and we've surfaced was, well, I don't know if people would pay that. I don't know if they would see the value in that. I don't think that people would actually pay for my services. And what we've discussed next was, let's do an actual on paper analysis of what is the value that you bring to them. Let's say that you're teaching them to do a specific trade, a specific skill. You're teaching them to make money in a specific way. And then you're tracking how much money they can make by learning that skill from you. And if you just make an analysis, you're going to realize that if what you're teaching them is going to get paid off in the next few months, even if it's going to get paid off in a year, it's completely worth it. Now think about all the doctors, dentists, lawyers, and any other job that people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for schooling, and they're going to pay them back in never. Like, look at how many people are still paying loans for schooling in US, and you're doing something that they can pay off in a few months. That's just an example. So basically what I explained to him is try to actually quantify what is the value they are getting and how much that value actually means to them. And when he did that, he completely realized that it's completely worth it for them. So it was all in his mind. The next thing actually that he told me was, yeah, but what if those people right now cannot afford? And you know, when people cannot afford something in the moment, but what you're helping them with is making them learn how to make money, they could get loans for that thing that you're teaching them. Worst case scenario, you can do a money back guarantee, or you can do payment only when you receive actual value that it makes sense for you at the end of me performing your services. I actually had a different call today, a sales call with someone that is in a similar situation, that they don't really have money right now, they're in a crunch time. And I found a way to make it work for both of us. There's always a way to make it work for you and for your client, as long as your priority is truly helping them. But you cannot help them if you don't help yourself first, if you don't give yourself the freedom to live comfortably enough without worry, without using up all your energy doing something else that you don't enjoy. The more you do what you love, what you enjoy, and your financial satisfaction comes from that, of course you can do way more and have more impact for your clients. And there's another assumption that he made over there was that, oh, they would not pay that because they don't have money. And that's an assumption that you may be making in your mind of how much money the client has. When the client really knows the value that you're bringing in his life, it's their responsibility to try to make it work. And they will make it work if it really makes sense from an ROI, return investment perspective. They will make it work. And if they cannot make it work, maybe you help them work. There's so many loan services out there. The main thing is for you to really quantify that it is valuable for them and it completely makes sense in their situation right now. Another assumption that he made over there, well, if they would pay that, they would not have money for other things. What you can shift that into is if they pay right now, they will be more committed. See, all the time you can find reasons why somebody would not do something, and you can look over those reasons. Or you can find reasons why that thing that, like for me to charge for my first services so I can live in my passion, why actually doing that will be useful for them. You can think about the worst thing that it can happen to them. Well, they're not going to have money for their, rent or mortgage or whatever. Or you can think in a positive scenario and say, whoa, if they pay, they're going to be way more committed. And then they're going to get results quicker. Why put the fear and the worst in front? You can always do that. Absolutely, no matter what a no-brainer service and offer you have, you could always find a fearful reason why your client should not buy. Don't look at those reasons, especially if you've been filtering your offer through your heart and you know that you're doing it with a positive intention and it's ethical and you're really trying to help your client and it makes sense, your offer. And the last limiting belief that we've talked about is, why are you actually doing your service? Why are you actually offering your service? Because like I asked him, I challenged him because he said, well, I want to just help people. And I'm like, well, let's write this down. If you don't charge for your service, you have to work 10 hours a day on other jobs and other businesses for you to make the money to sustain your family. Are you helping your client if you only put this little energy into the service that you're offering them? Or you think you would help them way more if that service would be the main focus? If you wouldn't have the other things, you would live off what you do with passion. Imagine what results would you be able to bring them. So are you actually helping them? If they're not going to pay you, and it actually happened to him so many times that the clients were not committed. So if they're not committed because they don't pay, are you truly helping them? If you're helping them for free and then just quit after a while because they're not paying for it, isn't that time wasted? Aren't you taking that time from other potential clients that you could actually help and they would be committed? Aren't you taking that time from your family? If you're not charging them, aren't they maybe use that money for something else that it's not actually valuable for them, instead of using for something that it is valuable for them, which is going to continue to program your clients in their day-to-day life that money is meant for wasting and living lavishly, not for investing in themselves. The reason why you do it is because you want to have impact and you want to have results for your clients. So I dare you to challenge this thought. Isn't me charging actually going to bring them more results? Isn't that going to curate the people that are going to actually be committed and they're going to apply what I'm teaching them, and is going to have more people changing their lives? Measure that. Try it for a while and measure that. If your calling is to live your passion, you should do everything in your power to live only from your passion. Isn't that right? So not charging for something is just a lens in your mind. Let's say that your passion is to helping completely poor people, like Africa or whatever. Then you should have an initiative to gather money that would sustain you for you to continue to work in your passion. But if you're not helping people that have absolutely no money, you could charge some amount of money. Optimize your service delivery, bring them value, and make sure that you sustain your needs in your family. The deepest point that we got into our discussion was for him to actually admit that the reason that he's not completely dedicated into his business is because that would mean that he needs to quit his current job and his other business. And he's afraid that he would quit that. And if he would not get clients paid, then he would not be able to pay his mortgage. He would not be able to pay for all the loans that he had. So he's not going to be able to sustain his family. And if that is your situation, I'm going to tell you exactly what I told him. You can just try doing 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, your passion. Start charging for it and validate the fact that you could actually make money using your passion. And as you do that, lower the number of hours spent in your job. Get a part-time job. And as you do that, you're going to scale what you do with passion. The more results you see that you actually are getting, the more your marketing is working, the more money you see coming in, you're going to lower the number of hours spent in other activities. If you focus on that, it's impossible for it not to happen. So please, follow your passion. Follow it wisely. Follow it without fear. Follow it with love. And everything will fall into place.